Yeah, so I'm happy to have you, Gary. For those who don't know you, just introduce yourself and tell us what
Sure.
you.
Yeah. So my name is Gary Gluck. I've been a practicing veterinarian since 2001. Uh, I bought a vet practice in 2002. So right a year after I graduated from veterinary school, I bought a practice, which a lot of people thought I was crazy to do that so young. Not too many veterinarians do that, but I felt like the only way to really make the kind of money that I wanted to make was by owning a practice. So I jumped right in and bought my first practice in Connecticut. And then I ended up selling that practice about 12 years after I bought it to a corporation. Before I sold that practice, I opened up a second location and I just sold that second practice in 2021. During that time, I also owned different real estate, uh, single family homes to start with that I rented out. And I also, of course, owned the real estate of the first veterinary practice. And as time went on, went through some life stuff, got a divorce, ended up kind of re kindling or basically coming up with a different way through real estate. I got into multifamily, and that's where I'm at right now. I've been investing in multifamily, although now I'm selling some multifamily because the prices are so awesome for if you're on the seller side right now. So uh, currently, I have two um, multifamily homes, a two family and a three family. Got a eight family that's in the 1031 exchange process right now. And I'm going to roll that into a another veterinary lease and actually a real estate in Wisconsin. So it's a multi-doctor practice in Wisconsin. I'm going to buy the real estate and hold the lease. It's another corporate lease, and looking to always find a good investment with a good return. That's where I'm at right now. So that's the short story.
Okay, that's sweet. And then now some things I thought of because I was like preparing some questions for you that I thought matched what you do.
Sure.
So one of the things I was wondering is like, what are like some of the qualities you look for in like a good like business operator? Because I'm sure when you made that decision to buy like the second practice, you there were some things you probably like looked at within the company. And so like what kind of like went into that decision for you?
Well, for me, the first practice I bought, it was in my hometown, so that kind of helped to make the decision. I think looking back at that time and the value of the practice seemed like it was reasonable when I got the value of the practice and when I what I bought it for. Um, as far as the operator, there was a lot of inefficiencies, a lot of discounts, a lot of family friend discount stuff, and that was just undermining their bottom line. And so for me, it I looked at this as well. The operator was a not really a business person. She was more of a just a veterinarian that wanted to work on animals. I looked at it as this is going to be something that I want to buy, increase the value, and sell. That was the whole process for me. It wasn't about, well, I just want to buy the place so I have a place to practice. It was, this is where I want to buy this place. I want to increase the value and then sell it. So I had the end in mind from the very beginning. I had in my mind, yep, I'm going to own this place for 10 years and then I'm going to sell it. Of
Mhm.
course, it wasn't rigid that it had to be that way, but that was my loose plan. So the I had a little bit of a, I guess, indifference or I don't want to say coldness, but it was like numbers. Like I wanted to make sure that this all made sense. And so one of the biggest issues I think is when you buy a business or a practice with longstanding employees, is that there's a culture there, and the the leadership drives the culture or shapes the culture. And if you kind of have this mentality where you don't value the work that you do, or you don't value the services that you provide, it trickles down to the staff, the team. And then when it's time to charge out the client for the nail trim and the ear cleaning and the you know just all the fees that go into a veterinary visit, a lot of times you say, oh, I've been seeing this person forever, so I'll skip that nail trim, or I'll discount this or that. And that's a recipe for having a very low value or no value practice. It doesn't have the machinery in place to keep it healthy. That's really what it comes down to. And so for me, I think having an operator that knows the numbers and knows what they're doing to create value, that's worth paying for. The value of that practice goes up dramatically because you have an operator that knows how to make a profit. And that's what it all comes down to: profit. Is it a healthy profit? That's what they value a business or a veterinary hospital as, is like, you have to have a profit. It's a multiple of your EBITDA, your earnings before
And
taxes, interest, debt, and amortization. Like that's it. That's what the value comes down to, and it's going to be a multiple of that EBITDA. You don't. It depends on. There's a lot of factors that goes into the multiple, but long story short, the operator for me, if you know that they're already managing a well-oiled machine, then they're worth every penny to keep them. If they're not running a well-oiled machine, you have to teach them the tools to make it a well-oiled machine, or they need to walk, they need to take a hike. And I don't mean that in a cold way. It's more just, it's not going to fit what you're trying to achieve.
mhm. And then with the first practice, so what did you end up doing to like, turn it around so you could sell it? So like did you like end up firing the current like, some of the current staff there, or did you just, retrain them, or how did that work out?
Yeah, so it was retraining most of them. I think some people that weren't on board with the new protocols and everything, they did leave. If you're not on the bus, or you're not rowing in the right direction with everybody else, the boat's not going to go anywhere. So that's where if these people that weren't on board with the new messaging and stuff, they weed themselves out. For those that kind of sandbag you, you have to you really have to have multiple messages, multiple training, and it helps to get everybody on board with tricks and techniques to earn their trust. Like, yeah, it's not going to be just that the profit gets into your pocket and I can buy a bigger car, or a better car or whatever. It's no, the profit is going to go back into making things better inside the clinic. We're going to reinvest, and in that old x-ray machine that constantly breaks down, we're going to get a new digital one. We're going to get equipment. We're going to offer more services to our clients, and we're not only going to help you guys with improving the practice and making it a better work environment, we're also going to make it more services available to the clients and service more people. So I think that goes a long way. When you see somebody come in and say, yeah, I want to make this place better, it helps to get the whole team on board, the staff on board.
And what type of like value adds did you like end up proposing? So like, and I'm just throwing out ideas, like
Yeah,
example. So like
yeah. So
$10 to 25
we
or
we definitely you know we instilled the importance of annual blood work and pre-anesthetic blood work. So for animals, they age a lot fast, and the old tale is that it's 1 year equals 7 animal years, and it's technically it's not exactly that, but for argument's sake, let's just say that it's 7 years. An animal ages a lot faster. The life expectancy for a golden retriever is going to be somewhere between 10 and 13 years old. So that's a lifetime for a dog. And checking their blood work, even when they're young and healthy, is always good to do. It kind of keeps you on track to know, like, okay, this is what's going on internally. And we brought that value out to the clients and said, look, let's get annual blood work. We know you haven't been offered this before, but let's do that. And that just adds to the bottom line for you, and it adds to having a baseline of lab work to refer to see what's going on year to year. And not every client wants to do all that, and that's fine. That's not a big deal. But when clients are explained the benefits of that kind of stuff, they go for it. Especially for in my lifetime, I've seen dogs go from just being out in the doghouse, chained to the doghouse, all the way to now dogs are just little babies that come in dressed up in their finest tutu when they come in to see me and stuff. They dress up their pets for the vet visit and everything. So it's a different mentality, but it's a good one. It helps to keep the pets healthy, and clients love it that we're providing a better level of care, and that leads to having a better bottom line. So that's one thing. Making sure that we value the services. So one of the things that we did was switched to, instead of the veterinarian going through, okay, this is what the costs are going to be, we had the staff go in, like the room technician go in and say, this is what the doctor wants us to do today. And when we took the doctor out of the equation for presenting the plan of what everything was going to cost, the average transactions went up $10. So we took the veterinarian, who these days a relief vet gets paid somewhere between $100 and $150 an hour. That's how much relief vets get now. So we take that value of the veterinarian out of the room, and we put it on the technician, who these days probably is going to make 20, 25 bucks an hour. So you're already like, okay, put the doctor in a different room so that they're making money at their pay grade, and then putting the technician in the room to go over the plan. And instead of having the doctor in there discounting things and say, oh, well, if they perceive that the client might not want to pay something, or make a face like, oh, I don't know if I want to afford that, the doctor might be more prone to say, well, we'll take this off and we'll discount this or whatever, versus the technician going in and saying, this is what the doctor thinks is the best plan. We got that alone made the average transaction go up $10 per transaction. So that kind of stuff just adds to your bottom line, and very simple and much more efficient way of doing things. So this is a couple of examples.
okay, cool. And then in terms of like your investment criteria, like what are some of the I guess like indicators you look at like to determine like if a deal makes sense for you?
Yeah. So with respect to veterinary hospitals, there's got to be some sort of value add. It's very similar to real estate, where if there's I look at the P&L. So P&L, for those that don't know, stands for profit and loss. And so that's kind of like the blood work of the hospital, like to look at that and say, okay, that's within normal range, that's within normal range, that's within normal range, that's way out of normal range. Why is that? Okay, so why is it that the lab fees are let's say 25% of the total expenses versus where they should be like at 15-20%. So that's that. Okay. Oh, they don't have a contract with a lab with all the discounts. Oh, okay, that's something that I can do. That's going to add to the bottom line. So that's hidden value that I'm not going to pay this person for because they haven't, secured these contracts. But I'll secure that contract, make sure that the blood work expense goes way down. That's going to make the profit go up, which then makes the value go up.
Mhm. Okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
And then what principles would you say have like helped you the most, like create the success you currently have?
Hmm. I would say my principles are, I really like to be um forthcoming and just honest right off the bat. I don't like to play games. A lot of times that's what you'll get into in real estate deals is like just yeah, I can do this for you. I can do that. We can do this and oh, let's dance around this subject. And it's like, no, this is what I want to pay. This is what I can give you for the benefits of me paying this. And let's, if you don't want to do the deal, then that's fine. I like to be straightforward, honest. I don't like to play the games. It hurts me when I see these guys come in and just try to finagle a deal and screw somebody over. And it's like I just, that's not my game. It's like I truth, honesty, and having like a just a set goal of this is what needs to happen. And if it doesn't fit your goal, I'm not going to force it, you know? So that for my first principle would definitely be just be straightforward, truth. Don't screw people over. Don't try to screw people over. I think another principle would be to focus on the numbers. Make sure that the numbers make sense. Don't fall in love with a deal because of where it's located or the guy that is representing the deal is really good and really nice and you know the your friend said it was a good deal. Like, look at, you got to find the truth is in the numbers, and you have to make sure it makes sense. Like I was just evaluating a couple of veterinary leases, and when you look at the number, like the agent on these places was saying, well, that would make a lot of sense. That's a good deal. That's a good deal. So you should buy these two hospitals versus this one hospital. And I started looking at the websites of these hospitals. And so the hospital that I was looking at, one of the hospitals I was looking at, was only two veterinarians, and one of them is at retirement age, ready to retire. The other one is very part time. And then the second hospital was another, like, just, I think it was a two veterinarian hospital as well, and just it only takes the two veterinarians to quit at the same time to make no income coming in. It's really, really hard to hire veterinarians these days. It's not like you can just grab one off the shelf. There's places that are paying $100,000 signing bonuses to hire a veterinarian. So those two clinics, even though they look decent on paper, when you look at the behind those numbers, like what's going on, okay, well, there's one vet retirement age, there's only two vets here, versus the hospital that I settled on has four veterinarians. It's all under one roof. That it's just it made so much more sense to me to buy a place like that because there's going to be safety for the lease term versus if there's, you know, the two veterinarians at the other places quit and the corporate entity decides not to renew, then I'm stuck with an empty building that has lots of veterinary stuff in it, or it's designed for a vet hospital. And there's not a lot of veterinarians that are graduating from vet school saying, like me, that said, oh, I'll just buy a practice, you know, after my first year out. So you have to look at the numbers and make sure they make sense. Have the truth is in the numbers. So that would be a big principle for me. And then a third principle would be have your end in mind. Like don't just go into something saying, you know, yeah, this looked like a good deal, so I want it. Well, why does that add to your overall plan? Is it a profitable business that you're looking for? Like, what's your overall plan? Like, my overall plan is to have X amount of passive income every month. Like, that's my ultimate end goal. If I don't see that this deal is going to add to my passive income, like it's, oh no, this is an active income deal. I got to do a lot of work to make this happen. Even after the purchase is done, I'm going to be still involved a lot. That's not what I'm aiming for. That's not the goal. So that's when I look at these deals, I look back to, okay, well, what am I actually trying to achieve here? I want X amount of passive income every month. So if this deal doesn't fit the criteria that I have in mind, then move on. I think those are three important principles.
Okay, that's awesome. Um, and then in terms of like buying real estate, not so much with buying a business, what are like some of the things you look for in your like in your properties? So are you looking for like, let's say like a high rate of return, just low purchase price? What are you kind of like? I know everyone has a different strategy, but like
Yeah.
what do you kind of like look at or pay attention to?
So I really am a cash flow investor. I like passive income. So for me, it's got a cash flow positive. And you know, when I started, you know, buying my multifamily um, houses, I was looking for a certain level of passive income per building bought. So, you know, I would look at, okay, well, I got to have a cash flow at least $500 a month after all expenses are paid. Like that was like my criteria initially. Um, Now it's more for me about making sure that it's passive. A lot of my multifamily deals, they looked good on paper, but when you look at okay, it's high turnover of the tenants. You know, tenant nightmares are usually the biggest issue that drain your cash flow. But you know, looking at how is this going to look with vacancy? You know, making sure that the cash flow is still at least positive, or even like if you're not losing money. So those kinds of things that I fine tuned my plan now. So you know, I'm selling an 8 family that just for whatever reason, every month I get you know, a bill from the property manager. You know, this person you know, clogged the tub, and then you know, water leaks to the ceiling of this unit, and then this is leaking over here, and it's like, okay, um, this has become a drag on my time and my cash flow. So I'm going to get into something easier. I'm going to sell that property, which it's easy to sell multifamily in my area right now. It's crazy how quick they sell. I'm going to sell this property that's a dog, and a dog meaning just not making any money.
Mhm.
I'm going to sell this thing and then do a 1031 exchange and roll it into that veterinary hospital that I was talking about. and that will be a much more passive income. Now, once the lease is up, it's going to be more paying attention. What am I going to do? How am I going to secure, the lease for further along? And I have people to help me with that kind of stuff. So that's good. But having easier cash flow for me is a huge deal right now.
Okay. And then now if this is something I've asked every millionaire each month just to see where their like creativity goes and what they would do. So
Sure.
like, if you had to start over from like ground zero, you don't have anything, like maybe you have some of your network, but like no capital, just you had to start over and you had to get back to $1 million as quickly as possible. What would you do? Or what would you focus on?
Yeah. Relationships, it really comes down to your network and who can help you out. Um, I think, when you were initially asking the question, the first thing that went into my mind was, I wish I had known about hard money sooner. I mean, I didn't really know much about hard money loans, and now that I know what I know, I wish I had known about that sooner. I could have done a lot more deals in the beginning, had I known about hard money loans and how it works and stuff. So I spent a lot of time just trying to figure out how can I save up to the down payment on this, and I'll never be able to afford that because of XYZ. And that mentality it's a drag, it's an anchor on your decision making and your businesses and everything. So that would probably be the one thing that I would say is like, reach out to my hard money lenders and say, hey, look, I had this track record before, or I have this or asset or that asset or whatever. What can I do? What can you guys help me with? And even you can start small, it doesn't have to be a multi-million-dollar house. It could be an easy little, oh, this house is just needs a new roof and you're good to go. So, go having the resources, people that can help you achieve your goals is really important. You can't. I don't believe that you can just turn. If I lost everything tomorrow, it would take a long time to build back up by just trying to do it alone.
Mhm.
You got to have a network.
Okay, nice. And then and then this is a question that I was just curious about when I first met you, just because I'm young, I'm single, so this got me thinking when I met you. I was like, how did you meet your spouse? I just want to know the story behind that.
Well, to clarify, she's my girlfriend, but she's been a long term girlfriend for 7 years now. So I met her at work. She brought her dog in.
Okay.
So yeah, I wish I could tell you it was a much more oh yeah, we met each other across the room and at a bar or whatever. No, it was she came in with her dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I know where to start. That's cool, man. Ooh. And then any questions you have for me at all or anything or
um, None that I can think of. I think for me the um you're big into reading, which that's huge. I am always listening to podcasts about real estate, about health. Some of the biggest things that I've gotten from my reading. So Miracle Morning. I don't know. Have you ever read Miracle Morning? So I read that maybe 8, 9 years ago. I can't remember when I started it, but I've been doing the Miracle Morning for years now, and I do not miss a day, even when I'm on vacation. I do the savers every single day. Um, I think it's super important to take care of yourself, and to take that time to make sure that you have your head in the right place, that you can tackle the day. Um, and I think that that's like a key thing, because if you don't have your mind straight, it's hard to wrap your mind around a deal. You know, once your own mind is straight, then you can do your best during the day. So for you, what would be your ritual or practice, or what do you do to set yourself straight and make sure you're on the path that you want to be on? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, so I mean, generally for me, I just wake up. Sometimes I'll work out, sometimes I won't. I'm not the most consistent person per se, but
Hmm.
I have some just general things I will always do. So I'll either
Yeah,
work in the morning or I'll read something to start my day. And nothing like nothing long. Like I'll have like I have this one book that's like filled with like affirmations. Um, so trying to think of one. Um, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but like basically I'll like read out some affirmations to start my day sometimes. Um,
yeah,
like or I like to be in a state of like play. So like sometimes I'll just like I have like apps and I'll play games like to start my morning just to like I because
yeah,
sometimes like I'm just all over the place with my head and I like to like play a game just to like just relax and ease myself into the day, then do my normal stuff, I'll grab like a drink. Like I usually like I like drinking like the drink called Naked. It's like this fruit drink. I'll
oh yeah, 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 I know
or
that one.
like a ginger shot or usually like some healthy drink or a protein shake. Like
Yeah,
bottle of water in. And then I spend about an hour commuting to work every day, like each way.
yeah,
So during that time, I'll usually like listen to like my favorite songs just to like get myself like in the right like frame of mind.
yeah,
Um, or I'll listen to a book or um or I'll like listen to like like some affirmation tracks,
yeah,
uh, things like that generally.
yeah,
That kinda, like, sets me in the right frame of mind, and sometimes I'll pray, or I'll even call somebody, like my mentor, because maybe I need a little pick me up, so I just I use different tactics depending on that particular day and where I am, like, you know,
yeah.
at that particular moment in time.
Gotcha, gotcha. That's cool. Yeah, I think affirmations are big. There's a guy that got canceled, Scott Adams. He did the Dilbert comic, and before he got canceled, he was pretty popular. For he predicted that he predicted that Donald Trump was going to win the Republican primary, and so he kind of got famous for that, which is weird because his more famous thing is the comic. But anyway, long story short, he wrote a book that he talks about having systems. Instead of having like a um, you know do I eat this or do I eat that? Like just have your system of this is what I do, and it reduces like that decision fatigue stuff and everything. So it sounds like what you have is more of like a system. You have like these are the things that I would do during the morning, which is great. That's like it helps to like reduce like, okay, well, what am I going to do today? I'm not sure. Like you've got like, okay, these are the protocols that I use, and you do it more to fit how you feel, versus just having like, oh, I'm just going to do this. But Affirmations. One of the things that he recommends doing is to write down what you want to have happen. So I've been writing down my goal every single day for years now. Haven't gotten to the goal yet, but I'll just write it, and it helps to like make your mind focused on seeing opportunities that um, you might not have seen had you not written that and reminded yourself every day, this is what I want to have happen. Same thing with like what you want in a spouse or a girlfriend. Like write it down, like have it be like, okay, I want this girl, and be as specific as possible. I want this girl to be, 5'5" or whatever you want for height, and I want her to be spiritual and this and that and blah blah blah. And you might not ever look at that again, but it still is. That's what you have, manifested, and who knows, that person might walk into your life tomorrow or 5 years from now, but at least you will have keyed your brain into, oh yeah, this is what I want. I wrote it down. The word became flesh. That's that. Robert Kiyosaki says that a lot. uh, and so you've got this idea in your head that's now on paper, that became more real because it's on paper. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
having it physically on there. Those words have become something physical, and then it just helps to get your brain, even subconsciously, like, oh, that girl happened to be 5'5". Okay, maybe that's the one. You know, it's neat that how affirmations work. I think that there's definitely something to it. If you asked me like 15, 20 years ago about that, I don't think that that's a thing. Like just saying something or writing something down on a daily basis to will make it happen. Well, it's not going to, magically fall out of the sky. I want $1 million. No, that's not going to. But having your mind keyed into what you want out of life will help you to get what you want out of life. Versus if you just kind of say, "Yeah, I want this," you're there's so many different paths to go to nowhere. That's where what it comes down to. There's so many different ways you can go nowhere, versus if you have that thing in the back of your mind where you want to go, it helps to keep you on the right path.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And I would even say, for me, one of the things that I try to like lean on is I usually have like certain days of the week I know exactly what I'm going to do. So like Tuesday and Thursdays, I know those are like my networking days. I just know on those days I'm gonna go out and go meet somebody somewhere. Like, or Monday I might stay home and look at deals online, or Wednesday I'll do a networking call. I usually, will always try to have something planned out for like the evening slots as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. That's really good to have those systems in place. Yeah, that's definitely a book I would recommend. Scott Adams. Um,
It's like an orange book, right?
yeah, How to
I
Fail
don't
at
I
Everything.
can't remember the name of it, but I know what you're talking about. I've read it.
Yeah, that one's a good one. And of course, The Miracle Morning is great. What are you reading now?
Right now, I'm reading a couple of books. So, right now I'm reading OU by Eric Thomas. Uh,
Oh,
so I'm reading that one right now, and another book. Well, I read a few at a time.
yeah.
Another one is called Tax-Free Wealth
Oh,
by
yeah.
Bill Wright.
That's a
And
great one.
yep. And then I have another one I'm reading. It's called There's a Spiritual Solution to Every Problem by Wayne Dyer.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
those are on my agenda currently.
Yeah. Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, I think I would definitely want to read the UOU one because I've heard Eric Thomas on some podcasts. I can't remember if it was the Hal Elrod podcast or Sean Stevenson. You ever listen to Sean Stevenson, the Model Health Show?
No, I don't.
Yeah, he always has some he focuses on health, but he also does mental wellness stuff too. And he's done some really good interviews. You'd probably enjoy him.
Yeah, I haven't watched him. I have read his book on like 21 strategies for like sleeping better. I've read that, but
Yeah, yeah,
his podcast.
yeah,
Uh, I've mainly just like I try not to consume too much content, so like I don't like list I hardly watch TV except
yeah,
for weekends pretty much. Like today and tomorrow generally.
yeah,
Uh, and then but generally I try to get all my content either through people directly, like someone like yourself or Walter or something like that, or I'm reading through books. I try to
yeah.
limit the amount of like podcasts and stuff just because there's just so many great people to pick from. I just can't watch them all.
I know. I have a tough time with podcasts because I have like the my list has over the years grown. So now it's kind of like I listen to them when I'm in the shower. I listen to them when I'm getting ready. I listen to them when I am driving. I listen to them when I'm working out. It can be a little overwhelming, and that's something that I have to really work at is pare down because it just constantly consuming information can be that can it's almost like a addictive, you know,
Yeah,
and
no, it's
it's
a dopamine hit for sure.
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. So I do have to watch myself with that because it does become a little fatigue. And my girlfriend, I'll talk to her about, yeah, you should do this to this, or oh, did you hear about? She said, what? Did you hear it on another podcast? I was like, yeah, another podcast, yeah,
Yeah,
podcast. So
yeah, there's just so many like cuz like I've watched a few different people so like there's Earn Your Leisure, Grant Cardone, Ed Milet, I
yeah,
think Sean's show, I've not watched it. There's like Andy Frisella with like the he had like the MFCEO podcast.
yeah,
Um, did listen to one podcast from this car guy, Salamandrin.
yeah,
I don't watch him now, but then I usually will like listen to I really like so like my favorite sport is basketball, so I just like listening to like the interviews with guys because it's just so interesting to see how they think.
yeah,
Um I just think that that same mentality that they take into like playing a ball game could like apply to business as well in some ways. So
yeah,
I always just find them fascinating.
yeah,
And then yeah, and then lately I've been stepping away from podcasts because I've been having like sleeping issues a little bit. So one of the things I've been doing at night is like listening to like beta waves and like theta waves with like at
yeah.
certain frequencies, and that helps me quite a bit, just kind of like calm my mind and focus a little bit more.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, I've been trying. So I fall asleep really easily, but I've been waking up um early, like too early, like much earlier than I'd like to. I always want to sleep like another hour or so. Some of the stuff that's helped me is from a podcast. Andrew Huberman, he recommends making sure that one of the first things that you do in the morning, which is hard for me to do because oftentimes I'm up before the sun comes up, but to get outside and have the sunlight actually hit your eyes, like not through a window, like be outside and have sunlight activate some of the hormones that happen when sunlight hits your retina. He said that's really important to help set your circadian rhythm the right way. Um, and then magnesium, that's another one that has helped me stay asleep a little bit longer. But it's got to be a specific magnesium. Magnesium 3 and 8, I think, is the one that they recommend versus magnesium citrate or whatever. So, but that's all I got. Whatever, if you have any other tips for me. Oh, during the wintertime too, I'll use, you're in Florida, so it's probably not as bad, but when the sun is down at 4 p.m., you have to use lights inside your house. So I'll use red tinged glasses, or
You
they're
like
called True
glasses?
Dark. Yeah.
Okay.
And that helps to make sure that the blue light isn't hitting your retina and making you stay up later.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think I have hmm. Yeah, no, I don't really have any other questions unless you do.
All
Uh
right, cool.
but yeah, no, it's been a pleasure having you.
Yeah, it's been very fun. Hopefully I'll see you again at some event, or who knows, maybe I'll see you on the track someday.
Well, that's the goal.
Yeah, that'll be a blast with our supercars. Have you seen Gran Turismo, the movie?
Game?
The
No,
movie?
no.
Oh man, I would definitely recommend it.
I'll add it to my list.
My girlfriend loved it too. And I saw it twice. I saw it with my son, and then I saw it with my girlfriend. Definitely something that you would enjoy.
Okay. Definitely. I'll have to check it out because
Yeah.
'cause I used to play Forza. I don't know if you've heard of that
Oh
game,
yeah. Yeah.
but I sold all my like all my gaming stations until like I get a property.
Right.
But yeah, no, that's awesome. But I don't know because I don't plan on like driving any fast cars anytime soon. I might do it because I made this promise with myself. Like once I turn 25, I go rent a Corvette. Um, but we'll see about that.
Yeah.
And then I do know like because I know this one company, they travel across the country. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're called Velocity Driving.
No.
But basically they charge a reasonable amount of money, and they'll let you like go drive several different supercars, like Lamborghini, Ferrari, Porsche, McLaren. I
Wow.
think they like offer like some deal for like 599 or something. You can drive like four cars.
Wow.
Like I think it's like 5 laps each too. So
Wow. Oh, that's awesome.
but yeah.
Very cool.
Hmm.
I love cars.
I know. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait till I can get what I really want. Just gotta establish the cash flow first.
Yep, that's key. Like that's what Robert Kiyosaki does. He says, "Yeah, I want that Ferrari, but I need to buy the asset that's going to pay for that Ferrari." That's the way to do it.
Mhm. Yeah, that's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
it's been a pleasure, Gary, and I'll chat with you soon, brother. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Have a great weekend. It's been fun.
Hmm. All right,
Take
take care.
care.